Already, here we are with the final series of the night. One of these days, Sabres intros are going to end, and we're going to find out that a player's already lost to a six-goal. So, as we are already 3 minutes and 50 seconds into this game, a pool is down, a hatchery is down, gas was taken first. We've got the reactor coming on and whatever. So down on the bottom of the map, we have our red Terran player who won in his first matchup against his opponent, trying to do it again to get out of their group, is our red Terran player.
noobPride.
And his opponent up here on the top right-hand side of the map, we have now sporting the blue. It is going to be
FaceTheSun.
Apparently the sun he's now facing is some sort of blue dwarf star. Maybe a neutron star. Those are cool. The Overlord is creeping on into position. Got one at the standard awesome little high ground thing. This one getting shoved back a tiny bit. It is actually good to get a little bit of that early damage. It doesn't seem like it can make a difference, but when he swings on in a little bit later to take a look around, having the extra 50 done may be enough to kill him before he sees something or something crucial like that. Probably not, but hey, who knows? Anything could happen. Get speed about halfway done here. Obviously, hatchery on the low ground is finished. He's got Lings almost in a set position of the I expected a Reaper or something position. And we've got a Baneling Nest coming down here as well. In the first series we had of the night, FaceTheSun opted for a Baneling bust in the first game. It did, however, get detected by his opponent. This time around, though, there is no Reaper that went in to spot anything like that. He is still walling up front here, and these Hellions are going to make their way out onto the map to possibly pick up some information. So if they get in and get tipped off to that, there's a pretty decent number of Lings out, not overwhelming or anything, 18 of them. They're going to drive, or at least attempt to drive, these Hellions back. It may kind of tip them off that these were clearly just plain rallied across the map. But if he cleans the Hellions up with them alone, then it's certainly still well worth it. Last one does a little bit of a juke there to get out and does fall. So losing the first 4 Hellions just straight up to Lings is pretty painful to have happen here. And he is going to morph into Banelings. I've got to think that he's aware of this. He did pick that up well the first time around in the first series. He knew the signs of a Baneling bust like that, and he's got to know now that he saw that additional stream of Lings coming out. Are we going to get any additional reinforcement to this wall? And no, not yet. The SCVs were pulled, but they're not going to be able to stop this as he does roll over. The Lings are now in the base here. And no, the supply depot at the top of the wall does not go up. Lings are just kind of flying through everywhere. The Hellions trying to come back, but one of them, second one, just gets plain taken out. They're not actually able to get their shots off here. noobPride doesn't quite know what to do. He's trying to hold on and stay alive, but there's only 3 SCVs left. Mules come down. There's really no way to stabilize from this. He's just going to make Banelings at the bottom of the ramp again, and we're going to get another onslaught of Lings coming up. Hellions trying to come out, but he really needs to be diverting a lot of this to SCVs. He can't really afford to be doing this. And reasonable choke here with the Hellions, but as the second group comes in, I think this is just going to swarm everything. I'm going to have game number 1 go to FaceTheSun here, pulling off what he was unable to do the first time around. Only 2 SCVs left, and noobPride does have to tap out of this one. could be our last map of the night, but if he has anything to say about it, our yellow Terran player here on the bottom right-hand side won't want that to be the case. It is
noobPride.
And his opponent, who is in fact looking to close this one out, is our Zerg at the top. And this time he is deviating from the play that we've seen in the previous few games. He is
FaceTheSun.
And I think this is the first time that we've gotten Pool actually first out of him. He's been going for Hatchery, Gas, then Pool. I think in every game so far. So a bit of a change up there to be doing that. The SCV scouting on in will see that no Pool is down. He's kind of lurking in an interesting position. I'm wondering if he's thinking bunker yet again, but he will wander onto the creep. Reaper is on its way out and will start darting across the map. Does move back down to the natural, and obviously sees that there's still nothing being put down, and our Roach Warren is coming down from FaceTheSun. So he's not going to be taking his natural, at least not in this point in the game. But the Reaper is going to get up here and take a peek around. There's going to be a queen, but there's no doubt that he's going to end up scouting what's going on if he just decides to go around. I don't think he went actually close enough yet, though, to see that. And no, he hasn't. So hopefully he will, for his own sake, swing back in there and take a look. He's going to dodge back in, but he may be a little hesitant to go actually behind the mineral line. He may think this is either another Vainling bust or something, but he knows something is up, and now the Reaper trying to juke out the queen, see what is in fact coming, and these roaches are on their way. 7 of them immediately popping out, and they're going to start to make their way across the map here. Of course, 2 bunkers immediately coming down for our Terran player, and those are going to be done in time. To be honest, I can't envision a scenario in which this doesn't hold. Roaches just don't have the DPS to really outdo healing. Plus, I really like the actual position on these bunkers, especially this one on the bottom part. It would be like impossible for roaches to really get up and focus fire this, and we get this Widow Mine placement that's beautiful yet again. We saw this in their very first game, that he had 3 of these spread out, and as the roaches come up, I think they're just going to melt. Immediately knows that that's not going to work here, does back up, and he's going to have to come up with something else, because 3 bunkers, not going to happen, particularly with the Widow Mine right there as well. What he can accomplish with this, however, is kind of delay the time that a natural could go down, at least hopefully. I mean, he hasn't actually started the command center or anything, and just try and get his own stuff going up. 3 spore crawlers are coming for FaceTheSun, so he does kind of predict that one of the likely routes, at least, is either dropping or banshees or something like that, to follow this sort of thing up. And he's using the Widow Mines to kind of push out and secure the area so that he can eventually land this command center once it is completed. FaceTheSun definitely kind of in a bad position here so far. He's only got 15 drones actually out on the map at the moment, and has to try and catch back up with that. Playing a little bit for him is, of course, that there are 27 SCVs, but there isn't actually a second base established yet, and there's actually only 1 gas. So the minerals are currently being overmined a little bit, so he's not getting the full benefit of that. But in either case, the Terran is certainly still way ahead, no matter how you look at it here. It looks like our Zerg is going up to lair immediately on the 2 bases. The economy right now is so is so sparse that I'm not sure what direction that would be. This is intended to go. He could be attempting to go directly into Spire again, but I just don't think the economy is there. But somehow, the fact that he's putting more emphasis on gas, I think that may in fact be what he's doing. We'll see now that the lair is finished. If he does go for a Spire once he hits 200 again. But our Terran is looking pretty good here. He's got double Widow Mines up front, tanks up front, 2 bunkers, a good number of Marines. Really doesn't have an exploitable weakness at this point in things. He's even got plenty of time to recognize if anything else is gone awry. And yeah, I'm not sure what the lair... I guess, yeah, okay. So the lair was to get movement speed for the roaches. I'm not sure that that's gonna... It's something that he's already got. He's got some investment in, so maybe it's an idea to continue along with it, but it's not necessarily going to be the best, particularly with a tank there, bunkers there, widow mines there. Like it's kind of a clunkier thing to be moving around. So we'll see how this does develop. It looks like he's clearing out the rocks, though, at least in some form of effort to potentially take a third. And I would like to see the Zerg player actually macro up a fair bit more in this game and see how he plays on that level of things. We've really only seen him try and either end the game early or go directly to a type of tech and then have the game ended on him kind of early. We've got a medevac sweeping really far around the left side of the map. He is going to actually find a gap between these 2 overlords that are kind of looking for this sort of thing, but we'll see how close he gets. There is a spore down in the main. Medevac is boosting in, and unfortunately, good, does stop just outside of range of that spore. The Marines do unload. He's obviously going to be able to see that, but no reaction just yet. Medevac has to pull away from that spore, and it will go down, but this is at least buying him a little bit of time for the roaches to come back in. The queen does fall, but the roaches will necessitate a pickup there. He's looking for a place to go, but these are on auto-follow. Oh, wow, if he just loses the medevac here, though, he's kind of pushed that back in the corner. It's a little more hurt than it probably should have been there. I think he wasn't paying attention because he was looking at this other drop in the natural here. Roaches will swing around to try and deal with that. And the first drop will actually just kind of... Not sure why he decided to do the parachute drop there, but does. And these have kind of been repelled. Not a huge amount of damage. There's really not that bad, but since he was already a bit behind, it certainly hurts to lose anything here. And the losses are really the queens at both of these bases, and he's not actually reconstructing the one at his lair in the main. And he really does need to be hitting those objects if he plans to get back into this game, because it looks like our Terran player is mounting up to make a strong push across the map. And it's queens that can really keep you in this by keeping both your production high and keeping creep out on the map, and there's really none. It's not even extending down his own ramp. But fortunately at the moment, he just hasn't had a free hand to be able to do anything like that. The Terran getting in a good position here at the bottom of the ramp with the tank sieged up, making it hard to come down after him. And he's just kind of going to exploit this position here, moving the Widow Mine up to the top. Really nice placement with a lot of these Widow Mines for noobPride. And I think now that he's in, this is a bit overwhelming. There's too many Marauders here, too much healing. He does end up bashing on through, and yeah, I don't think this is going to be denied with only 10 army supply. The Lings out here are killed absolutely immediately, and we are going to the final game of this series to determine who is going to make it out. Alrighty, so here we are on our final map of the night to decide which one of these lovely contestants makes it on through. We do once again have ketchup versus mustard going on here. Up in the top right-hand side of the map, we have our Zerg player in red. He is...
FaceTheSun.
And down on the bottom left-hand side of the map, we have in the yellow, the stunning, lovely, not totally cowardly yellow, more of a daisy sort of thing. It is
noobPride.
And we've got FaceTheSun back, I guess a little more towards the build, or at least the opening that we saw in about, I guess, 3 of the 4 games that we've seen him play here, which was the hatch, the gas, then the pool there. And we've got the Reaper coming out once again for noobPride. Again, not the... It's still good for scouting, but it's not one of the best maps to get a lot of them or anything on, although we saw maybe a little bit of disproof of that in the TBT game, where that's exactly what happened. But the Reaper will get up, see the timing of everything, and hopefully get a good scout off. What's really been paying off for the Reaper, he's been getting 1 or 2 of these kills basically for free without effort, and nothing is going to stop him. I think he's going to get like 4 or 5 of these before anything comes out to even try and stop him. Okay, 3. Will he get some kills additionally on the Lings? He can kind of bounce those around a little more than he is, but he's shown a tendency to not take the risk, back off, and then go take a look back in a little later. Getting the factory added on here as well, and grabbing a few Marines. So he could, yeah, there's the Reaper kind of swinging on back in now that he's healed up. These Lings in the pretty good spot, the type of spot they want to be. He does go for a slightly different corner. Almost got trapped there as he kind of slid across the edge. Now spreading out the Lings to this couple different spots. And this Ling, he could just stay and fight him, yeah. Does die there. And we get a Baneling Nest going down in the back of FaceTheSun's base. I do hope in this case that it's not for a Baneling Nest. I think his opponent's going to know that that's coming this time around. He'll be able to see that sort of sign yet again and defend against it. But I don't know. He's definitely got some time to detect it. At the moment, he's still got this Reaper alive who is going to bounce back in and see what's up. If he sees any warning signs, like, say, a lot of Lings, anything like that, then it may tip him off. But we do have a little round of drones being made, so that may well not be the case. We don't see the numbers of Lings that we did in the last time he tried that out. Ling does die to a Reaper there. But this is only a light... Oh, no. Okay. Well, there's 16 of them. I was going to say it's a light sprinkling of them, and then he makes a whole batch of them. So I think he is trying probably for a bust here again. No bunkers yet for noobPride, but he's already got the Widowmine down. He's already got a good number of Marines there. His opponent can see that there's no command center on the low ground, and he should be worried about like actually following through with anything like a bust after seeing that. Banshee is out and making its way across the map. This time around, he's not going for the cloak. He's just getting the Banshee in and of itself. His opponent's been pretty decent at getting a Spore out. Oddly enough, not this time. Doesn't actually have it, but he's still been getting kills just by avoiding the things in the front. The Banshee's going to fly here into one of the queens, takes a little bit of a poke and looking around. Second queen in a decent position as well. Lings stationed outside the Terran's base. There are now 4 bunkers at the top. There are what do we got here? 3 Widow Mines strategically placed around. This Banshee actually has only gotten 1 kill and it's been pushed back out, only down to 32 hit points here now. And yeah, you kind of want to close the door. Taking a little friendly fire there from his own Widow Mines, but obviously coming out better as he is able to safely move and secure his natural base. Our Zerg really doesn't like thirds, doesn't want to take one, shows no tendency towards that. He's only at 24 drones, was actually a bit higher, but has now thrown down spores, 4 of them, in order to deal with the Banshee. And sometimes if all your Banshee does is makes him put down 4 or 5 spores, that's enough. It's already paid for itself. Then you've already gotten the use out of it. But that does seem to be the case here. And off this sort of low economy, it may be rough for the Zerg if he doesn't take a third at any point soon. Ling's kind of running out, but I just feel that their ability to do a lot of damage here is not, it's not really that time anymore. If there ever really was one in this game. Widow Mine's clumping up at the front there. One Ling comes in, does not even trigger them, but may have actually seen that they were there. 2 Banshees are swinging off towards what the third base will be, and now that he is actually taking a third, he may end up having to cancel it, as these do some work there now. Turn the cloak on, didn't have to. Or not just yet, but he's got a lot of energy, so maybe it's not a big deal. Does force the cancel there. Giggling happening everywhere. Loves his giggling. The double Banshee coming in. He is in detection range. No transfuse going off on that Queen. Unfortunately, because he did have enough energy for a couple of them. The Queen, once again, trying to poke away at the Banshees. The damage has kind of been spread out a little bit, moving the Spore into a slightly better location to guard that corner. But FaceTheSun is quite a bit behind in supply, quite a bit behind in workers. He hasn't reinitiated an attempt to put down that third base or anything, and keeps getting the Evo chambers, but I don't think he's lived long enough to see an upgrade finish. When he has, it's kind of unfortunate. There's not enough economy with it to really stay alive through the time it takes him to develop what he needs to here. The Terran is kind of time to make that move out, and we've seen this sort of small but scary force actually do this before. Is he going to stop and actually take out the rocks, because he's just kind of trapped himself in the corner? The Ling does at least see that this force is on its way. Once again, we get the Spire, unfortunately, by FaceTheSun, and I don't know. It's the... He will, yeah, I guess, force the turnaround here, at least, by making Banelings on the offensive side, but the Terran sees that, briefly turns around, and then realizes, I don't have to turn around. That's fine. I don't have to do anything about this. So the Banshees could come in. There's 2 tanks on the high ground. This isn't going to matter. This, yeah, I think the Terran force is doing pretty good here. There's a lot of Banelings up on the top. They need some good connections to do this. Hellbats are pretty tanky. Banelings looking for the right time to come in. Widow Mine's in a really good position, a raid out front, trying to trigger those off. Now, individually, really good idea. He definitely cannot take any splash hits on this. And in come the Banelings right when he was going the opposite direction. And nice blast, but then there comes a Widow Mine hit. Able to clean a lot of this up, and that worked out quite well for him. He caught him coming up into him directly as he was coming down the ramp. So just taking advantage of some great positioning, well, not positioning, but I guess some great timing there. Just having to be going in the right direction. Does take out 1 Banshee. There is the Queen. I don't know what those Hellbats are doing. I guess they're going to try and take that queen out. They're going to get potentially swarmed for the efforts, but he doesn't want to wander back into this Widow Mine. These other Banelings up at the front, it's kind of interesting that this wall was there, and it would have been enough to stifle everything, but I don't think he knows they're there. They're just so in, just slightly outside of the view as he's walking out, and so the wall kind of got disassembled a little bit. If these Banshee, oh, he's moving them the other way. He's going to swing into the base. Oh, just as this transfer happens, this could be brutal. No, he realized it, and he's trying to go after them. Nice flank there. Can he get the remainder of these? He's trying to split them up as best he can. Pretty good detonations there. It does take him down, but only 6 workers were actually killed. He was like a foot away from getting an extra 6 there at least. But pretty good splits. The Thor's coming out now, 4 of them, along with the tanks. The soft army of the Banelings not going to be as good at dealing with this type of thing. And that Spire, did it just straight up get canceled at some point, I think? Banelings just going directly into Thor's. That's not a plan. And everything's going to get roasted here. It looks like our Terran is going to march on through over the Zerg army and walk directly into this base. He's just so strongly out-mackered, I think, throughout these series. GG is called.